My husband overheard my son and his friends verbally abusing him, and now he's begging not to send him to his mother's crampy home. After about 6 months, I asked Zach to move in, and the rest is exactly as I've been describing. Amazing. My son started calling Zach his other dad when he was 10. It was a very sweet moment, which makes this hurt worse. Well, last weekend, my son had 3 of his friends over. They were playing video games in his room, and I just left a grocery shop for the week, so it was just them and Zach. I don't know how this topic came up, but things got very homophobic. My husband was sitting on the couch, and I guess my son and his friends thought he had left, but it was just me. My son's room is connected to the living room, so if you're sitting in the living room it's not super hard to hear what's going on in his room if he's loud enough. 4 teenage boys playing video games. One of them said how it feels having a faggot as a father. My son laughed and said, "Quite poopty." They told me my husband probably touched him when he was little, and my son replied, "He can try it now. He'll get his butt beat." So, not even being a PP to Zach but also threatening him over something we all know he would never do. They kept saying poop like, which one do you think takes it in the butt? Probably the F slur, or at least your real dad still likes women. Just a bunch of hateful poop. My husband sat there listening to it all, silently crying. Also, Zach has spent 4 hours a day at the gym for the last 3 years, so I don't know who's getting their butt beat, but it isn't him. I got home about 2 hours later to my husband sitting in his car with a packed bag waiting for me so he could leave, but he didn't want to leave my son alone. I asked what was happening and why he was leaving, and he told me everything. I tried to understand as best I could. I insisted he wasn't serious. He was just being a stupid kid acting tough with his friends, but it didn't matter. The damage was done. Zach left, and I went inside and went off on my son. His friends left, and I spent 3 hours going back and forth with my son. At first, he was very unapologetic and agreed with his friends. I asked if he thought my husband sexually abused him when he was younger, and he said, no, but kids block those kinds of memories out. So really, who knows? I told him to pack his poop. He's living with his mother. Info: his mom lives 3 hours away, which means a new school, new friends, if at all, less private space as he'd have to share a room with his stepbrother, etc. Everything you'd expect goes from a single kid in a house to one of 4. My son instantly changed his attitude. He cried and begged me not to send him away. He didn't mean it. He was just lying to seem cool to his friends. I asked why he doubled down when they left, and he didn't answer. I told him to pack his poop. He's leaving in the morning. I called my ex and told her the situation, and she agreed he needed his back, but he cries every night. Honestly, it feels like he's mourning, which I don't want because something drastic that he did wasn't okay at all. Fast forward to now, and my husband, when you mourn, you don't get over someone. You get as close to indifference as possible to keep living your life without them. I don't want that. I want my husband and my son to have that strong bond I know they have, and I don't want them to throw it away over this. I don't agree with what my son did, but those accusations at a minimum can ruin someone's life and at most, end it. I'm disgusted with my son. He calls me every day, tells me he misses me and Zach and wants to come home. I stay strong on the phone, but after I break down and my husband tries to console me, tells me my son can come back and he will leave, but no, I'm not doing that. I just don't know what to do. I miss my son. I miss coming home and seeing them, spending time together. I've thought about therapy for him, but he said no. You can't force therapy on someone. They'll just sit there for an hour and piss away $400. I need advice.